Imagine a person falling from 33,000 feet without a parachute and walking away alive. Or an Australian guy who wakes up from a coma, buys a lottery ticket, wins a supercar, and then wins another $250,000 while reenacting it for the news. Sounds like cheap internet clickbait, right? Except every single word is absolutely true. Today, you're going to hear 10 real-life stories that sound like they were cooked up by a crazy screenwriter. We're talking mind-blowing coincidences and cases that straight up break the laws of physics. And stick around for number 1, because it's a story you won't believe even when you see the archival documents. Let's dive right in. Let's kick things off with Frayne Samward Moore, a British sailor from the 19th century. Over his career, this guy survived 14 separate shipwrecks. 14! Every single time his ship went down, Moore somehow made it out alive. In one disaster, he spent 3 whole days clinging to a broken mast in the open ocean, literally fighting off sharks. Back then, the mathematical probability of dying in your first major storm was close to 100%. Sailors were so terrified of his luck that they refused to board any ship he was on, calling him cursed. In the end, Moore lived to a ripe old age and died peacefully in his own bed. Never give up, even when the entire ocean is against you. Imagine a military conflict starting because someone let their dog off the leash. Well, in 1925, Greece and Bulgaria launched an actual war over a single pet. Bulgarian border guards shot a Greek soldier who had crossed the border trying to catch his runaway pup. Greece didn't hesitate. They immediately invaded Bulgaria. Real combat broke out. Dozens of people lost their lives, and the conflict got so bad it had to be settled by the League of Nations. It's a tragic example of how human pride and explosive tempers can turn a ridiculous accident into an international catastrophe. At least nowadays, we don't start wars over pets, right? In Ohio, twin brothers were separated at birth and adopted by 2 different families who knew nothing about each other. Both families, completely by chance, named the boys James. Both Jameses grew up, studied law, and went into law enforcement. It gets crazier. Both married women named Linda. Both had sons named James Allen. Both got divorced and married a second time, both to women named Betty. They even drove the same car and vacationed at the exact same beach. When they finally met at age 39, scientists were completely speechless. This isn't just a coincidence. This is a glitch in the matrix. Frayne Salak from Croatia had a life that was basically an action movie. In 1962, his train derailed into a freezing river. 17 died. Frayne survived. A year later, he was sucked out of a plane when a cockpit door blew open. He landed perfectly on a haystack with minor scratches, while 19 other passengers tragically perished. Later, he survived a horrific bus crash, his car caught fire 3 times, and he was hit by a city bus. People thought he was a walking curse, but the climax seals the deal. At age 73, Frayne bought a lottery ticket for the first time ever and won $1 million. So, is he the most cursed man on Earth or the luckiest human to ever live? In March of 1876, a bizarre event took place in Kentucky. Out of a perfectly clear blue sky, chunks of fresh meat began raining down on a family farm. It lasted for several minutes, covering a massive area. 2 brave locals actually tasted the meat, claiming it tasted like venison or mutton. This is a fully documented historical fact, confirmed by scientists at the time. The leading theory today is pretty gross. A massive flock of vultures had gorged themselves on dead animals and then simultaneously vomited mid-flight right over the farm. How would you react if a raw steak just fell from the sky and slapped you in the face? Drop a comment. Next up, is a story of pure survival recognized by the Guinness World Records. In 1972, a passenger plane exploded in midair over Czechoslovakia. A flight attendant named Vesna Vulovic was in the tail section of the fuselage, which plummeted from a height of over 33,000 feet. Statistically, there was zero chance of survival. But the tail section slammed into a snow-covered mountainside at a perfect angle, cushioning the impact. Vesna suffered horrific injuries and temporary paralysis. But she lived. This story defies everything we know about biology and physics. You cannot fall from the edge of space and survive. Except Vesna did. In the 12th century, an English village called Woolpit discovered two children, a boy and a girl, wandering in a field. They looked normal except for one major detail. Their skin was entirely green. They spoke an unknown language and would only eat raw green beans. Eventually, they learned English and explained that they came from an underground world called St. Martin's Land, where the sun never shines. The boy sadly passed away, but the girl grew up. Her skin turned a normal color, and she married a local man. Historians still argue whether it was arsenic poisoning or a myth, but the green children remain one of Britain's eeriest mysteries. Everyone knows the tragedy of the Titanic in 1912, the unsinkable liner that hit an iceberg on its maiden voyage. Now, get ready for a shock. 14 years earlier, in 1898, an author named Morgan Robertson published a book called Futility. The plot? A massive, supposedly unsinkable British luxury liner sets sail across the Atlantic in April. It hits an iceberg and sinks, killing most passengers due to a shortage of lifeboats. The creepiest part? The ship in the book was named the Titan. Even the length, speed, and passenger capacity matched up perfectly. The odds of a prediction that precise are practically zero. In 1945, a Colorado farmer named Lloyd Olson went out to chop the head off his rooster, Mike. But the axe missed the jugular vein just enough, leaving the brainstem completely intact. The rooster didn't die. He got up, shook himself off, and tried to preen his feathers. The shocked farmer decided to take care of him, feeding Mike with an eyedropper directly into his esophagus. Mike lived without a head for 18 months. He became a massive celebrity, toured America, and scientists officially certified that the rooster was fully alive and pain-free. Mike is a real medical anomaly that biology textbooks still talk about today. Our number one spot goes to a story that will make you believe in fate. Detroit, 1930s. A young mother was walking past an apartment building. Suddenly, a 1-year-old baby fell out of a 4th-story window, plummeting directly onto a pedestrian below. A man named Joseph Figlock. Both were heavily bruised, but survived. A miracle, right? But exactly 1 year later, the exact same Joseph Figlock is walking down the exact same street, and out of the exact same window. The exact same baby falls again, and Figlock catches him again. This was officially documented in American newspapers at the time. The odds of the exact same man being under the exact same window at the exact same second, 2 years in a row with the exact same baby falling, are 1 in billions. If that isn't destiny, nothing is. As you can see, real life is often way crazier than any Hollywood movie. No screenwriter could ever make this stuff up. Which of these 10 stories blew your mind the most? Was it the identical twins? Or Mike the headless chicken? Drop a comment right now, I want to know. And if at least one of these stories sounded completely impossible, smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, because in the next video, I'm bringing you even crazier facts. See you in the next one.